3 men knocked on a front door in Norris Green, Liverpool, asked if Joey was in, then rushed inside. A trained kickboxer, dragged through his own home, stabbed 6 times. He fought back, every second of it. It didn't matter. David Corridon died on the floor of his own house, 32 years old. And when police pulled the threads of what happened, they didn't lead to a rival gang. They didn't lead to a stranger with a grudge. They led to the woman who had carried his children. The woman who, just days before, had placed a Valentine's Day advert for him in the Liverpool Echo. Welcome to TrueCrime page. This is where we go beyond the headlines, into the cases that fracture communities, destroy families, and force us to ask questions that don't have comfortable answers. We give voice to the victims. We follow the evidence wherever it leads. If you are new here, subscribe now and join us. Now, let's get into it. David Corridon was 32 years old. He lived with his mum and stepdad on Newhall Lane, a trained kickboxer, powerfully built. On paper, he ran a removals and house clearance business. In reality, he dealt cannabis, and he was good at it. Good enough to accumulate £35,000 in cash hidden in his attic. 27th February 2012, mid-afternoon, Newhall Lane. 3 men approach the front door. They knock, ask if Joey is in. David opens it. They rush inside. He is not alone. Fellow drug dealer Craig Wallace is upstairs. Another person is in the house. The attack begins in the hallway. They demand money. Then the knives come out, stabbed 6 times. They drag him upstairs, searching room by room for the cash. David fights back, a trained kickboxer with everything to fight for. His children, his life, his home. He makes them work for every single second of it. Upstairs, Craig Wallace hears everything. He makes a decision, jumps from an upstairs window, hits the ground, runs, calls 999 in a panic from the street. The 3 attackers flee. A stolen silver BMW, later found burned out in Kirkdale. What they took, £900, some watches, that was all. The £35,000 in the attic, untouched. They never found it. David Corridon died at the scene. When police arrived at Newhall Lane, the house told the whole story. A man who had fought until he couldn't fight anymore. And then the investigation began to ask the question that changed everything. How did they know which house? How did they know about the money in the attic? How did they know exactly when he would be home? This was not random. This was not a tip from a distant associate. Someone had told them. Someone who had been inside that house hundreds of times. Someone who knew every corner of David Corridon's life. To understand what was taken from his family, you have to understand who David Corridon actually was. He built himself into someone who was genuinely hard to hurt. He understood the world he moved in, and he was prepared for it. He had 2 children with Maureen Smith. Maureen Smith, 38 years old, mother of David's 2 children, 13 years together. Not a brief relationship, not a casual one. The split happened towards the end of 2011. Arguments over David's suspected infidelity. The kind of breakup that leaves damage on both sides, but Maureen's response to that damage was not ordinary grief. She sent him texts, read them carefully. "I'll never forgive you for this. I will tell my baby you are dead." These are the words of someone consumed. A week before the killing, they had a public street fight, on the street, in front of whoever was watching, and then, days before the murder, Maureen Smith placed an advert in the Liverpool Echo, a Valentine's Day advert, for David, a public declaration of love, printed in black and white for the whole city to see. The judge, who sentenced her, would later say, "The line between love and hate can be very thin." She wanted revenge. She wanted to give him a taste of his own medicine, but she also, still, wanted him back. Both things. At the same time, simultaneously, and somewhere inside that contradiction, she made the decision that destroyed everything. She picked up the phone and called her sister Kelly Smith, Maureen's sister, 35 years old. They shared a home on Sir Howard Way in Toxteth. Kelly grew cannabis there. When Maureen called, Kelly didn't hesitate, not for a second. She saw it as easy money, despite the fact that David had been generous to her personally. For years, that generosity meant nothing. Kelly put Maureen in touch with Tyrone Griffiths, a career criminal, a drug dealer, Maureen's new partner after the split from David. When police later arrested him, he was carrying a loaded .45 pistol and ammunition. That is the kind of man he was. Griffiths was told two things. One, the house would be empty during the day, David at the gym at 9 a.m., then out selling. Two, 40,000 pounds in cash was hidden in the loft. Easy. Waiting. To Griffiths, this was not personal. This was a business matter. His words. A business matter. He hired brothers, Nicholas Nelson and Willis Nelson, both with histories of armed robbery. Nicholas had met Griffiths in prison after a security van robbery. These were men you call when you need something done without questions. But Griffiths was careful, or tried to be. He sent men to scout the house weeks earlier, check the layout, confirm the cash. They were spotted by neighbors, twice. The operation paused, then restarted. This was not a spontaneous act of anger, not a decision made in a moment of rage. This was planned. Drop a comment below. Do you think this was about revenge? About money? Or something that doesn't have a clean name? I want to know what you think. Before we get into the trial and what came out in that courtroom about each of these 5 people is the part that makes this case impossible to forget. If you are not subscribed to this channel yet, hit that button right now. Every case we cover here is verified, detailed, and told the way it deserves to be told. Subscribe and turn the bell on, because this story is not finished yet. The investigation revealed the stolen silver BMW, found burned out in Kirkdale, forensically examined, every inch of it, phone records pulled, calls between Maureen, between Kelly, between Griffiths, a paper trail, assembled contact by contact, a chain that connected a bitter ex-partner in Toxteth to a career criminal with a loaded pistol, to 2 brothers with histories of armed robbery, to a hallway in Norris Green. Maureen's texts to David were presented in court. Then, right alongside those texts, the Valentine's Day advert. The jury saw both. At the same time, the woman who wrote, "It's fucking worth spending money to get you fucked," dropped dead, was the same woman who placed a public declaration of love in a Liverpool newspaper. The contradiction was devastating. Griffiths was arrested, found in possession of a loaded .45 pistol and ammunition, a separate conviction on top of the murder charge, and then the detail that stopped the investigation cold, the 35,000 pounds in the attic, still there, untouched, exactly where it had always been. David Corridon died for 900 pounds and some watches. The robbery had failed completely. Detective Chief Inspector Neil Bickley, the lead investigator, described it plainly. One of the most complex and challenging murder investigations he and his team had ever been involved in. 5 suspects. A chain of contacts assembled across weeks. Evidence spread across phone records, forensics, financial trails, and witness testimony. But there was one thread they could never close. A 3rd man had entered that house on Newhall Lane. A 3rd man had been part of what happened in that hallway. He was never identified, never named, never caught. One of the men who stabbed David Corridon 6 times walked away. And as of today, he is still walking free. Liverpool Crown Court, 2013. 5 defendants, all pleading not guilty, every single one of them. The trial lasted approximately 14 weeks. Craig Wallace took the stand, the man who had jumped from an upstairs window while David was being attacked below. His testimony placed the attack precisely. The burned BMW, the forensic evidence, Griffiths' loaded pistol, recovered at arrest, and the £35,000, still sitting in the attic, exactly where it had always been, confirming beyond any doubt that whoever sent those men knew that house, knew that money, knew David Corridon's life from the inside. Maureen's lawyers pointed to the Valentine's advert. She still loved him. She never intended serious harm. She only wanted him robbed, not killed. Kelly's lawyers made similar arguments. She was not present. She was a liaison, not a killer. Willis Nelson claimed he was drunk, asleep at his mother's when it happened. The jury did not accept any of it. January 10th, 2013. Life sentences, all 5. Minimum terms before parole eligibility: Maureen Smith, 23 years. Kelly Smith, 22 years. Tyrone Griffiths, 28 years. Nicholas Nelson, 28 years. Willis Nelson, 28 years. Total minimum time behind bars. Across 5 people who each played their part in the death of a 32-year-old father in Norris Green, 129 years. The convictions were not accepted quietly. 2015, Willis Nelson appealed, rejected. 2018, Maureen and Kelly Smith took their case to the Court of Appeal in London. Their argument, joint enterprise law was being applied unjustly. They were not in that house. They never touched David Corridon. They never held a knife. Maureen had wanted reconciliation. The Valentine's advert was proof of that. Neither of them had intended David to die. Their lawyers pointed to the judge's own words at sentencing. He had accepted that Maureen still loved him. His exact words, used now as an argument for her release. The Court of Appeal considered it and dismissed it. The judges were clear. The attackers had gone to that house armed, knowing David Corridon was a trained kickboxer, knowing he would fight back. As of early 2026, no further legal progress has been reported. All 5 remain in prison. David Corridon's 2 children lost both parents on the same day. Their father to a knife in his own hallway. Their mother to a prison cell she will not leave until around 2036 at the earliest. Both gone on the same afternoon. February 27th, 2012. Those children were not mentioned in any of the decisions that led to that day. Not in the texts, not in the planning, not in the phone calls between Maureen and Kelly. As they assembled the chain of people that would end their father's life, they were not considered. Not once. His father, also named David, stood in that courtroom and said, "His death has left a big hole in my life." His mother, Linda Jones, "It feels like a piece of me has been ripped out." In July 2012, 5 months after his death, his family visited his grave in Anfield Cemetery. What would have been his 33rd birthday, a birthday he never reached. From prison, Maureen and Kelly Smith have left birthday cards at David's grave, expressing regret, expressing love. The same love, the same words that appeared in a Valentine's Day advert in the Liverpool Echo, while the plan was already in motion. And then there is the detail that has never been resolved. A 3rd man entered that house on Newhall Lane. A 3rd man was part of what happened in that hallway. He was never identified, never named, never arrested, never charged, never stood in a courtroom, never faced a jury. He is still out there. As of today, he remains free. David Corridon was 32 years old, a father, a son, a brother. He went to the gym every morning at 9 a.m. He kept a samurai sword in the house because he understood the world he moved in. When 3 men rushed through his door, he fought back with everything he had, every second of it. He was not a perfect man, but he was loved deeply, and he deserved better than to be betrayed by the person who knew him most completely, the person who knew which house, which attic, which hour of the day he would be home, the person who had carried his children. Maureen Smith placed a Valentine's Day advert for David Corridon in a Liverpool newspaper, while the plan to rob him was already in motion. She told the court she still loved him. The judge believed her, and David Corridon was still dead. 5 people are in prison. 1 is still free. 2 children grew up without either parent. And a family visits a grave in Anfield Cemetery for a man who was 32 years old and had no idea that the person closest to him had already made the call that would end his life. That is the full story of David Corridon. If this case stayed with you, hit the like button. Subscribe if you're not already here, and leave a comment, because these stories deserve to be talked about, not buried, not forgotten. There is another case already waiting, another name, another story that deserves the full telling. We will be back.